Please.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Dewan, you'll agree with me that long before Mr. McDonald, Mr. Utano stated emphatically that you had lied to committee not once but numerous times, you in fact were friends with Cameron McDonald. Isn't that correct?
I would consider him a very close colleague that I got along with.
Yes. I'm looking at a text exchange from October the 24th, 2022, between yourself and Cameron McDonald, where you're joking around, talking about your upcoming appearance at committee. This was your first appearance. You were joking around saying, my first line at committee next week, Tina made me do it. My second line, Cameron McDonald, Mac, not Mick, Mr. Speaker, did everything behind my back. You were joking. Mr. McDonald knew you were joking. Mr. McDonald said, yes, this entire thing is brutal. And then you stated something very interestingly. You said, I quote, my issue isn't talking. I'm rather good at running my mouth. Now, I take that to mean I'm pretty good at telling tall tales. And I would suggest very strongly that's precisely what you have done on the last two committee appearances, and that's what you're starting to do right now. You are very good at telling lies, Mr. Dewan. Furthermore, you continue, and Mr. McDonald says in response, ha ha, oh, I wasn't worried. You then said, my issue is what I want to say versus what I can say. Can't throw PHAC, public health, under the bus. Can't throw ministers under the bus. It's hard to explain the complexity and cost of this thing without doing that. So, several questions, Mr. Dewan. Starting with PHAC. Who at PHAC are you trying to protect?
Thank you for the question. I'm not, first of all, I do not recall those exchanges. I'm not questioning them. I don't recall exchanges I sent 2 years ago. I send hundreds of texts a day. But in terms of protecting anybody, there is nobody to protect. In terms of the question of throwing people under the bus, the PHAC were the business owners. They defined the requirements. I think it was well stated here. There are, I believe, to memory, over 80 OICs. Those were not CVSA OICs. We had to react. We were working around the clock to meet the requirements.
Thank you, Mr. Dewan. I only have 5 minutes. I'm reclaiming my time. To your point that you don't recall, these text messages are probably still on your phone, unless, of course, they mysteriously got deleted as well. Okay, so I encourage you to review your phone messages from just over a year and a half ago. Can't throw ministers under the bus. We already know about the difficulties you had with Minister Mendicino, who wanted someone's head on a platter, and you threatening Mr. McDonald to throw him under the bus. Are you still protecting Minister Mendicino?
Thank you for the question. Those are allegations and not facts, and they're allegations from an individual.
Mr. Dewan, very straightforward question. Are you still protecting Minister Mendicino, now known as MP Marco Mendicino? Yes or no?
No, I have no reason to protect him.
Then why would you say that emphatically in a text message? Why would you give the illusion that you want to say more, but you can't?
No.
You swore to tell the truth. You affirmed to tell the truth, not only today, but on your last appearance. You can't have it both ways. You can't just give us some of the evidence and hold back relevant details. Your affirmation is to give us the straight goods, Mr. Dewan. No one forced you to write these text messages. This came from you. So what is it you really wanted to say, but you felt compelled that you couldn't? Who are you protecting, and what are you hiding, Mr. Dewan? Is the relevant question. What are you hiding?
Mr. Chair, I'm trying to answer the member's question.
What are you hiding?
You have about 10 seconds.
I have nothing to hide. I have nobody to protect. It was a very stressful and difficult time, and we were responding to the pandemic and the needs of FAC and others.
Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. Baines, please. We're starting with Mr. Brock for 5 minutes, then we'll have Mr. Jawari. Go ahead, Mr. Brock.
Thank you, Chair. Going back to text messages, Mr. Dewan, from October of 2022, I'm rather good at running my mouth. My issue is what I want to say versus what I can say. I have to stay in my lane. In my opening round with you, sir, I opined what a literal interpretation would be, what I believe most Canadians would take from that text exchange. I will give you a little bit of latitude, sir, to explain yourself. Specifically, I would like an explanation as what you want to say versus what you can say. What did you mean by that, sir, in your text exchange with Mr. McDonald?
Thank you for the question. I don't remember that text exchange again, and I wonder why Mr. McDonald would still have that text with him after leaving the agency. So, having said that,
if I could stop, with respect, the issue is not whether you recall it. The issue is why you would ask why Mr. McDonald would retain it. That wasn't the question. These are your text messages. It is a snapshot in time. One would have thought these are pressing issues that would still be germane on your mind. I appreciate you have health issues, but clearly you have a lawyer, so you prepared for this meeting. Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct Canadians if they're wrong. The interpretation is you cannot be honest with this committee because you're being held back from telling us the truth. So let me help you. Who was directing you not to give committee the full truth and nothing but the truth? You being the vice president at the time, would it have been Mr. Osowski or Ms. O'Gorman?
Nobody was directing me to not be truthful. And in terms of saying what I want to say, sometimes, and as I want to do here, I stick to the facts. I don't conjecture. I don't give opinion. I'm not here to give opinions. So the question there, and these are alleged texts, I must say. I don't have these texts. These are alleged from the same individual.
Let me stop you right there. Don't go there. Don't suggest for 1 minute these are fabricated text messages. By doing so, sir, you are now impugning the integrity and the character of the source of this information. If you got an issue with this, my suggestion is you go back to your phone and you scroll back to your communications with Mr. McDonald, or furthermore, if that is gone, talk to your service provider, because service providers retain up to 10 years worth of text messages. So with respect, don't go there. Don't use the word alleged. These are your words, and I've given you the opportunity to explain yourself. I'll ask one further time. Why did you say you could not give us the full goods?
I did not say I could not give you full goods. And with respect, Mr. Chair, the same individual has taken very strong liberties of impugning my reputation and going as far as saying I faked a heart attack. So my apologies if I do take offense to allegations, because there have been many allegations made against me.
Mr. Dewan, I'm moving on. You got counsel with you. You've indicated you're not under any investigation. You've indicated you're not under internal investigation. You're not under police investigation. Why do you have a lawyer with you?
I believe everybody is allowed counsel. I believe other witnesses that have appeared here have counsel as well. And given the harm that's already been done to my reputation, both here and on social media, I think it is wise for me.
Thank you. Is the CBSA currently paying for your legal fees?
Yes, they are.
How much have you submitted so far?
I'm not done, so I have not submitted anything.
You've submitted no bills?
I've submitted bills for previous attendance, but not for this one.
And how much has your legal counsel billed for his or her services in assisting you? Just the number, please.
The last one was $5,000.
$5,000
Approximately. I can get the
Okay.
specific number and invoice.
for a 2-hour appearance, okay? And what about the first invoice?
It would be approximately less than 5,000. I can get that invoice as well.
Maybe 4,000? Will you provide both? Will you provide both invoices to committee?
I certainly can.
Will you
but
provide
whatever.
the current invoice to committee as well? That what he or she is charging you for today's appearance?
I can provide that information.
That is our time. Mr. Joire, we're back to the final round. We have Mr. Genuis, I understand, or Mr. Brock for 5. Go ahead, sir.
Thanks, Chair. Some loose ends, Mr. Dewen. The issue regarding your legal fees, has that been paid by CBSA?
Yes, it has.
I didn't hear that. Thank you. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. Now, earlier today, sir, you referenced some affidavits, and I think you were referencing affidavits pertaining to both Cameron McDonald and Antonio Utano. Is that correct?
Oui, c'est correct.
Yes.
You specifically raised those affidavits because you claim, at least your evidence today was, that there was evidence in those affidavits to suggest that it wasn't you who selected GC Strategies, but rather either Mr. McDonald or Mr. Utano. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
Do you have those affidavits before you, sir, in that room?
I have excerpts of it. I obtained it through my legal counsel.
Okay, on the record, can you specifically identify what paragraph that relates to any evidence to suggest that it was Mr. McDonald or Mr. Utano who selected GC Strategies? Just the paragraph, please.
Paragraph 12 from Mr. Utano's affidavit. I was involved in exploring options to be
I
presented.
don't need you to read it out,
sir.
sir. I don't need you to read it out. Just paragraph 12 for Mr. Utano. Is that correct?
15. Paragraph 15 from Mr. Utano speaks
Paragraph
to Deloitte.
15. Okay. Is there any other paragraph that speaks to that?
As well as paragraph 14 and 15 from Mr. McDonald's affidavit.
Okay. And I'm going to be asking you, sir, to forward the full affidavits to this committee, and we'll specify what sort of time frame. You have no problem doing that?
Nope.
Okay. Moving on to the allegations regarding deleted emails. I understand that the complaint from a whistleblower, the IT whistleblower, submitted that complaint to Michael Lafleur, the CBSA's Executive Director of Professional Integrity. Is that your understanding, sir?
That's what I read in the Globe and Mail.
And that was sent in December of 2023. Has Mr.
my
Lafleur
recollection of the-
Has Mr. Lafleur spoken to you?
Yes, he has.
Okay. In relation to that complaint?
Yes, he has.
Have you received a copy of that complaint?
I have not.
Have you requested a copy of that complaint and it has not been received?
I have not requested a copy
And why not?
because I know the allegations are false.
That makes zero sense. You're under investigation. A complaint is levied against you with very serious, damning facts that you willfully, intentionally deleted relevant emails in relation to the selection of GC Strategies. And your evidence is, I know it to be false, but I didn't even bother to ask for the misconduct report. That is incapable of belief, sir.
I would refer you to the CBSA then.
Sorry?
I would refer you to the CBSA and I'll make the request for it.
That is mind-boggling, sir. That truly is. Do you understand the content of the allegations, sir? Let me help you with that.
I would like to
Because this
remind the
came
chair
out-
that I would like to remind
Sir,
the
it's my
chair that
time.
I'm-
Sir, it is my time. The complaint says as follows, that you approached this IT employee directly without going around proper protocol for requesting technical support. You said that some files were lost when you attempted to move files between your laptop and the network drive in preparation for a new computer. what Mr. Dwan was telling me or saying made no sense. I've never heard of a VP or an individual who receives VIP treatment in regards to IT-related tasks taking it upon themselves to move files or organize information in the way he suggested. The complainant said Mr. Dwan said he was acting on the advice of CBSA's IT team, but this employee expressed skepticism. Who on the team gave you that advice? Identify names, please.
I can find the name.
Is it one name or is it several names?
The initial person I identified that my battery would have be giving up soon or would have an issue, I could identify that name. And perhaps one of the reasons I didn't ask for anything is I've been on medical leave for the past 6 months, and on a doctor's advice, I'm supposed to avoid stress would be probably a reason why I've not wanted to engage any further on an investigation about myself.
But you'll supply the committee with a name?
I will supply the committee
Or
with the
names? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Atwin, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.